Hi, welcome. I'm Adam Smith with Xtelesis, and we're going to talk about today ShoreTel's architecture. ShoreTel's architecture is kind of the magic behind why ShoreTel is so successful as a company. They've done something that no other company has been able to do with the design of their phone system, primarily because when they were founded back in 1996, they were founded on a clean sheet of paper. And so what that allowed them to do is start fresh. Think about all the good things that were in a traditional telephone system. Take advantage of things like IP-based technologies that were getting popular at the time and are now the mainstream of voice over IP and voice systems. And they were able to be innovative in that way. And so what they started with was the ShoreGear voice appliance. It started shipping in 1998, and it's the fundamental building block of the solution. It's a Lego-like architecture. We'll talk about how that looks on the whiteboard in just a moment. But the ShoreTel ShoreGear voice appliance, it's a unique device. It's got no moving parts except for the fan. It has dual connections to your Ethernet network so that you can have patch updates go out to one set of switches. Second set of switches can be updated the next day without bringing off your phone system offline. Runs an operating system called VxWorks or Linux, similar to anti-lock brakes, pacemakers, whatnot, things that are embedded and have a need to do one function or a few functions very, very well. Point of the matter there is you don't get that Windows blue screen of death, which you do run the risk of if you're using a server-based environment. The other thing that's unique about the ShoreGear voice appliance is that because the way it's architected with no moving parts except for the fan, your MTBF, your mean time before failure, is going to be much longer than in a server-based environment. ShoreTel publishes 11 to 15 years MTBF. If you go to any hardware manufacturer for servers or spinning media, you're probably going to get a mean time before failure of about 3 to 5 years. So we're talking about a dramatically longer lifespan, and that's all part of why ShoreTel delivers the lowest total cost of ownership, which there is a total cost of ownership tool that we'd be happy to walk through with you to compare a variety of different vendors while you're doing your selection. So let's take a look at how this system looks when it's drawn out on your network. We'll start with your local area network. This is, let's call it headquarters. This is your local area network. We want to set up QoS, possibly separate VLANs for voice to prioritize the traffic and make sure that it's not getting congested with other traffic that might be on your network. Now, what I mentioned before was the ShoreGear voice appliance. I'll draw one switch. This is the Lego-like building block of the ShoreTel solution. It comes in a variety of flavors. There's a 30, a 50, a 90, 120, 220, a couple others for international, and T1 trunking as well. But fundamentally, this is the building block of the solution. It's a 1U appliance. Most of them are half width at this point. So we're talking about tremendous savings in your wiring cabinet as opposed to a server-based architecture or compared to your TDM system. I know some of the older solutions out there are, the size of a small refrigerator or even a large refrigerator depending on the organization. So we're trunking your telco and we're providing service to your IP phones with a dramatically smaller footprint. There's a cost savings there in electricity as well. So we have some number of these ShoreGear voice appliances connected to the network. Just write SG on there for convenience, and they're going to have dual connections into the network. Let's say it takes 3 appliances to cover your headquarters location. Say you have maybe 300 IP phones there at that location. You might have more, you might have less. Let's just use that number for instance. Draw a little phone on here on the network. This will be extension 1000. You can have 3-digit, 4-digit, 5-digit extensions. Easy enough. Now that we have the ShoreGear voice appliances on the network, if you're one site, we're going to add one more piece. We'll call this the application server. And with the application server, what this is doing is voicemail, auto attendant, work groups, which is what ShoreTel calls their ACD functionality, which, by the way, you get out of the box. So with ShoreTel, you're not paying extra for ACD functionality. There is a premium version called Enterprise Contact Center, or you can use a product with Synelect if you are in the higher end contact centers, but you get workgroups right out of the box. It's doing computer telephony integration. This is what people talk about with their computer tied into their phone system, with desktop applications that are being served from there. And it's doing the admin functionality. ShoreTel calls that Shoreware Director. So you might hear these terms in future videos as well. So with that server, what you'll notice is it's not doing call processing. All of the call processing is on this embedded flash memory on the ShoreGear voice appliance. So, because we mentioned, as I mentioned earlier, the server tends to be a weak spot of the equation. We're moving away from the server. We moved completely away from the server for the call processing. There's a backup way of distributing voicemail on the switch level. There's a backup auto attendant on the switch level. There's hunt groups on the switch level. So what I'm mentioning right here is even without this server, you get the core functionality of your phone system.